I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Sancho, who's the Minister for Tourism for Castilla and León, one of the great centres of culture in Europe. I think it has as many UNESCO World Heritage Sites as anywhere else. I think it's only equalled by Lombardia in Italy. So it's one of the great destinations of Europe, and I'm here to discuss what that means for the destination and what it means for the community in that area and what can be done about it, I think. So, Sancho, tell us a little bit about Castilla y León for those who don't know it.
Because, as you said, we are the big heritage centers in Europe, and heritage in Europe is heritage in the world mostly, and we are not so well known abroad. And that's something in what we are working in, what ETOA is important to us too. And to explain you a little bit about Castilla y León, you said that we are the region in the world with more World Heritage Declaration by UNESCO, total of 12 declarations and 9 sites. And we have more sites declared than very famous places like Tuscany or Andalusia. So Castilla y León is bigger in numbers, and we are a huge territory. We are in the heart of Spain, north of Madrid, and we are the biggest region in Spain and one of the biggest regions in Europe. In size, we are bigger than several countries, bigger, for example, than neighbor Portugal here. And together with this very historical heritage and cultural point of view, we are also strong in other things, like in natural spaces, that we have 33 natural declared spaces. We have 10 biosphere reserves declared by UNESCO, 1 geopark. So nature with very different kind of landscapes is also important here in Castilla y León. And together with that, when you travel somewhere and you are discovering history, culture, nature, landscapes, feeling, people, there is something that we love to do, that is eating and drinking. And we are very good on that in Spain, you know that, Tom. And in Castilla y León particularly, we are a very wine region. We have, talking about tourism, 9 declared wine routes, but we have more than 5,000 wineries in the region. Some of them are together with nice hotels located in old monasteries or amazing buildings, Michelin rated, Michelin star rated restaurants and at these places. So it's a great area for wine, for food. And if you have your eyes wide open to discover all the beauty of the heritage, and after that you open your mouth, that's going to be perfect. And that's going to be the best way to discover and to taste the heart of Spain.
Fantastic. I mean, one of the best qualifications you can be for a Ministry of Tourism is have enthusiasm for your product, and you've passed that with flying colours.
Yeah, we have to believe in what we do, Tom.
The point I keep making is that the reason why somewhere is a World Heritage Site is not because it's justifiably famous, but there is lots to discover there, and we can touch on that in a moment, because the towns and the buildings and the edifices that make up your UNESCO World Heritage List, and that's only part of your region, of course, as you pointed out. There is so much to know and find out when you're there. It's almost limitless, the opportunities these things have for the interested visitor. But I'm more intrigued. I mean, you're clearly potentially an alpha tourism destination. Are there any particular markets that you're interested in expanding to? Because you are already famous. You've got you've got the Santiago path going through you, so everyone knows about you. But how are you going about getting more people to you? I suppose is the question. You want people to come and stay, not just know about you.
Yeah, for us, the main target now is, are the international markets.
Yep.
We are very well covered with national tourists. And in Spain, you have the heart that we were talking about that before, and you have the coast. And most of people that comes to Spain internationally, they go to the coast, they go to Madrid, but they go to the coast. Or if they go to Castilla y León and some of these World Heritage sites like Segovia, that is just half an hour from Madrid, it's just a short trip, and we love to host people for a longer time. So in this inland tourism, we are the leader region in Spain. Lots of national tourism is arriving to Castilla y León, but we want to grow up in international numbers. So that's our main target. And we are working on that, that,
Yeah.
and making promotion in different areas in different countries to change that. That when they are traveling to Spain, usually they think about the coast of Madrid, Barcelona, but we are so close to Madrid, and that's an advantage for us.
You're not alone in wanting to have people spend more time and more quality time in your destination. The standard the standard phrase is that you obviously want visitors to come and stay some time in your area. But the trouble is that you need to get them, those tend to be the second time visitors. The question is, you can't get a second time visitor without having a first time visitor. And so you need to attract the first time visitors. And I'm just wondering, are there any particular markets you're looking at to get these first time visitors to come to you?
We have that kind of visitors from Europe regularly, and we are working a lot in the American side, in the US, Canada, and also in some markets like Mexico that are growing a lot in visits to Spain, because there is like a language link.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Spanish language that it's called also Castilian, that was born here in Castilla y León. We have some old monasteries where are the first registers from Spanish language. And we're growing a lot in numbers of people who's coming here to study Spanish, to improve their Spanish. And I'm not just talking about students or college students, but also people who's mixing this gastronomy, heritage, and language learning. And yes, one of our main markets where we're focusing now is not just Europe, but the US and also some markets in Asia. We just went to Japan, to the expo there, and we were covering the Spanish pavilion for a while, and things have been great there. And I think some visitors are going to discover the region.
I think your World Heritage status will go very well in Japan. The nice thing about Japan is that they are, it's not a new market for Europe. It's an old market for Europe. They've been coming to Europe now for over 60 years. And unique amongst the Asian markets, I can risk this. You get a great level of sophistication from the Japanese market. And so if what you have is a very sophisticated product, that fits the Japanese market very well. And I think you're very sensible at promoting it.
Yeah, it's from the heritage side and from some numbers, like, for example, we have more than 500 castles in Castilla y León. Castilla means castle in Spanish, so the name is because of something. And we have also more than 400 monasteries, and that's appealing. And in Asia, it's working a lot, and also in the States, the Camino de Santiago, the St. James Way. And in fact, most of pilgrims in the international numbers are coming from Korea. So that's a surprise, and that's very good.
Do you foresee, because there's a lot of discussion at the moment about the impact of tourism on local economies? Certainly in the news at the moment, we're hearing all about the demonstrations that there are in Barcelona and other places. And it's a difficulty. This is a much bigger topic than we can cover today. Don't worry. But I'm just intrigued because you can't have people come and spend money in your area without there being some displacement. It just naturally occurs. And is there anything you're trying to do to, I suppose, almost minimize? You're going for growth, which is great. Is there anything you're doing to try and mitigate the impact of that growth on your communities?
Yeah, the very good thing, Tom, is that besides the three heritage World Heritage cities that are Salamanca, Segovia, and Avila, we have a very best territory where you can host a lot of visitors. And well, and even here, we are not so many people. We are 2.5 million population in the region. So we have lots of places where you can go and you can be the only traveler and be there with locals. And you only have some specific places where you're going to find lots of visitors. But we are not with that trouble at the moment. And what we are trying is to diversify the tourism during the different areas in the region. I give you an example that's working very well in Asia and Japan. We have some sites in León and Astorga with Gaudí buildings. And you were mentioning Barcelona. Most of travelers to Barcelona go to visit Gaudí work. And you have some Gaudí amazing buildings in Castilla y León. And we're, for example, diversifying in this route now.
I suppose if I look at my membership base, as you know, we have 350 odd tour operators. And I would say the biggest volume of people is carried by the people who do individuals. This is where the bulk volume is. But the big add value is obviously in groups. It is also groups fit our sustainability profile because if you have 48 people traveling together, their carbon footprint is much, much smaller than an individual moving around in a car, for example. I'm just wondering, have you got the infrastructure? If people want to bring groups of interested people to Castilla, are you doing anything to make sure that they can access the places properly, that there are facilities for them?
Well, we have worked a lot in this arranging of facilities for groups and under the label of sustainability, and that's very important to us. And for example, we have a brand that's called Posada Reales, like royal lodges, and this is working in historical sites. You can sleep in a castle, in a monastery with that sustainability label, and working for groups coming from abroad. And for example, that pattern is working quite well in wineries that I was mentioning before, to have a different experience trip with heritage and with history, with landscape, and that I was mentioning that before with wine and food.
No, I can see that. I think if you are going to attract group tourism, which has a lot to be said for it, I think it's something that we need to work with you on, is actually measuring the impact, because I think people see buses coming in, but they don't fully appreciate how much money is being generated and how many jobs are being generated by these people. They just see the bus; they don't see anything else,
Yes.
and it's something I'm very concerned about. I keep lobbing you very easy questions. Sorry, I don't think I know they don't feel easy, but to me it's obvious. But what are you doing? to reduce the seasonality of demand because uh, I'll actually say, is it very seasonal, your tourism season?
Not at all. In fact, I was dividing Spain for you before in two sides, the coast and the interior land. And in the coast, there is a very seasonal tourism. But in our case, we have more or less like a flat line during the year in numbers. And that's very good because people is coming here not for the weather, that, well, this is not our main target, but they're coming here mainly from heritage and for some celebrations, right? For example, one of the high peaks that we have in the year is Easter season.
Yeah.
In Holy Week, we have these huge parades with lots of heritage going to the streets, and well, it's kind of the Andalusian model, but in a different way with more heritage in the streets. And we have there a high peak, but it happens to be at the season of the year where people is not going to other parts, no, for example. And in autumn, that is usually a season that is falling down for tourism in most of places, here is rising up because of landscapes and because of seasons of things, like, for example, mushroom seasons. No, we have lots of mushrooms, including truffles, not just only in Italy, but we here in the area of Soria, we have amazing truffles, black truffle. And lots of people is coming because of those gastronomical events that we have, some international events at that time of the year. And even in the winter, for example, in Christmas, I was talking before about the inland tourism. And this is tourism, obviously, from Spain and not from tour operators from outside. But in Castilla y León, we have the biggest number in Spain of rural lodges. And lots of families in Spain, they are renting a house in a village to spend the Christmas with their families. And that's funny because they are buying in that area. You were talking before about not number of visitors, but number in economy. And that's very important to us. I'm here working in a ministry now that is tourism and heritage and culture, but this is not my regular job. My regular job is at the economy and industry department. So that's the reason, because I'm trying to move the industry numbers to tourism numbers.
There shouldn't be any opposition between tourism and the local culture and the local economy.
Not at all.
I mean, tourists come because they want to see and enjoy the culture of the destination they're going to. So they should be helping to underpin the very economy that people there enjoy and experience. Just to take the case, it's an extreme case, but if you look at London, for instance, people come to London to shop, to go to the theatre, and maybe go to a pub, for example, which is three examples. Now, if there were no tourists in London, there would be no theatres, there would be no shops, and there would be no pubs. I mean, you need to have the lifeblood that sustains the local cultural environment, and so it's a vital component. And I'm sure this will, at some stage, be an element of what's happening in Castilla y León.
Yeah.
What you're selling is the taste of the inhabitants, and we're here to underpin and boost that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, this part, we think we have to be a mix between discovery, because we are not well-known place, so people can be surprised with things that they can discover here, and to get that, it's like a childhood feeling when you discover things and when you enjoy that. And for that enjoyment, you need quality in services, quality in everything that you are offering. And we are taking care a lot, subsidizing on the quality services from lodging, from restaurants, from every service that we have to to provide to tour operators and to travelers. Because if you have a great experience, you feel special and you're happy at a place, that's perfect. And you're going to be back, or your friends are going to be there after that.
What is your biggest challenge? What's your biggest problem?
We have not a huge marketing in the past, and we're trying to recover the time with that, letting know the region better abroad. And I mentioned that before. We are very well famed in Spain, but if you ask anyone, are you in London now, Tom?
I am in London. Yes, I am. Yeah,
Okay,
I confess to being there. Yeah.
If you go out now and you ask people in the street, the first 5 people you met about Castilla y León, probably no one have heard about it.
Yeah.
They have heard about, I was mentioning before, Tuscany or Andalusia. If you say Castilla y León, no idea. As you say Spain, they have the idea, but we are not, I don't say, well, no, we are not known abroad. We have 4 airports, and some of them have this international flights with Europe, but we are very close to Madrid. So for us, that's a huge advantage to receive groups. And we have this high-speed train coming from Madrid that can cover in half an hour or 1 hour most of the areas where you can start the trip for a group in Castilla y León. So that's very fast and very convenient for groups that are arriving. We have a very high quality level of lodging. And that's something that we have been taking care, also trying to promote these very special places to lodge your groups. And we are mixing that with heritage. No, I mentioned you before, you have lots of places in castles, in old monasteries. For example, the building where I'm now, Tom, my office, is an old monastery from the 15th century where the Catholic kings received Christopher Columbus, and he presented there the project to travel to the Indias, let's say America. So now this is an office, but we have a lot of history places with a history, with a story to tell to who's sleeping there, and they can feel like part of history.
Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you,
this
Tom.
interview. And I very much look forward to seeing you and Castilla y León again very shortly, I hope.
Yeah, you know, with where we work together with you in some events, we attend your events, you're having here some missions too. So we're very happy to collaborate. And it was a pleasure to meet you, Tom.